the LA Daily News, and we bring him on the show whenever he's in town. Warriors last night. It's an absolute pleasure to see you.
Likewise. Collins, how's things?
Things are great. So last night, there's a moment. LeBron and KD talk, and everybody's trying to guess what they say, and you've got a theory on it.
My theory, well, LeBron was definitely talking with them. They were having a little bit of a conversation. Kevin Durant afterwards, when I asked him about it, was saying, hey, they're just catching up. They're joking a little bit, but there were times, if you roll back the video, that Kevin wasn't even moving his mouth there. I wonder to what extent were they just trolling everyone? They knew the TNT cameras were locked in on there. It's in public view. Are they really going to be talking about their futures and trying to team up together in that setting? No.
They know the optics. And I think both those guys are smart enough to know it's part of the soap opera that makes them rich. By the way, Kevin Durant, it's a fascinating player. That he's a sensitive guy. I don't think that's disputable, which is fine. That's a good human quality. You don't want to be hard. You want to be sensitive. And also, everybody claims they don't hear shows like this or other shows. Of course they do. If there was a network that talked about me all day, you don't think I'd hear about it? If you don't hear it directly, you're sitting in your hotel room in Cleveland waiting for a game and they're talking about you on television. You're hearing all this stuff. But Kevin Durant is you cover him on a daily basis. He can get prickly. But from what I understand from you, share this with my audience, he's kind of unique. He's not a grudge holder if he's ticked off at you.
No, and I think it all pertains to like what kind of working relationship you have with him. But for me personally, I've enjoyed the 2 years covering him. There's definitely been some challenging moments. You know, for example, Draymond Green and Kevin Durant had that blow up against the Clippers in LA here in November. And then after Draymond had that 1-game suspension, they're playing together in Houston. I asked Kevin, just how things are going. How's the state of their relationship, since time has passed. He snapped and said, don't ever ask me that again. But to his credit, a few days later, pulled me to the side in practice, and we were able to clear the air. And I think the most important part when you're talking about kind of Kevin and what that means is, he's a complicated guy. It's hard to read him on a day-to-day basis. Sometimes he's moody. Sometimes he's happy.
Give me a moody moment. Give me a moody moment.
Yeah, moody moment is, after the Knicks make those deals. The Kristaps Porzingis. Yeah, the writing is on the wall. They are clearing cap space to get Kevin Durant, right? And there were a few days that he didn't speak to reporters. Once he finally did, a few of us asked him about it, and he got very irritable about the whole fascination about his pending free agency and him saying that we've been, on top of him all the time in regards to those questions. But then, a few weeks have passed. I think lately he's been in a very jovial mood. I mean, for example, the exchange he had with LeBron, he was laughing about it when I asked him.
He's actually a great quote.
Yeah, he's a great quote. And I think the thing about all this stuff, Colin, is how it pertains to his future. The Warriors don't know. The NBA, a lot of people don't know, but there is an overriding sentiment that there's a feeling that he is going to leave, but there's also an overriding sentiment that he could easily just change his mind, and you don't know what are going to be the things that trigger that.
Yeah, I've I'm not Kevin Durant, but I have literally 4 times made a massive career change, and it is remarkable in all 4. And I think I'm very common here. This is there's something that happens, a conversation with a dear friend for me a couple times, a moment, an epiphany, driving and thinking, this idea that it's all planned out. It's not. I've moved cross country with a family 4 times. It's too complicated to be planned out. He's got too many. He's got his game. He's got his sneakers. He's got his city. It's got Silicon Valley. He's got friends. He's leaving a dynasty. This idea that he's got it road mapped out. It's not the way, by the way, that's not the way life works.
Right.
You don't marry the person that you had. How many times has somebody been married and they said, the last time in my life I was looking to meet somebody. I literally had made up my mind. I didn't want to date. Boom, you find the love of your life.
Right.
And I think this idea that Kevin's got it mapped out is a bunch of hooey.
Right. And here's the thing. The NBA, including the Knicks, they map things out long term because of all those different contingency plans. But everything's always subject to change. So when you're talking about the Warriors, I think the obvious benefits speak for themselves, where he's won 2 titles. He's won 2 finals MVPs. He might win a 3rd here. They're going to Chase Center next season in San Francisco. He's already had some business ties in Silicon Valley. Does he want to tap into that financially? The Warriors can offer him the most money, 5 years, $221 million. But, Colin, here's what I think makes Kevin Durant one of the most unique players, not only in the NBA and professional sports, right? For him, his rite of passage, usually guys and their criticism that awaits them, it goes away once you start winning a championship. For Kevin, it only accelerates it because the criticism that he's been getting is, hey, he took the easy way out. He went to the Warriors, a team that has Steph Curry, Draymond Green, Klay Thompson. They've already won a title together. So every time that he's had that milestone, that criticism just gets louder and louder, and it bothers Kevin.
Mark Medina, you covered the Lakers for the LA Daily News. Why we brought you on the show, because we thought you had some really good sourcing and you were a smart young guy. It's unraveling a little bit. Joy had said earlier, let's slow down. He did land LeBron. Your sources, because you still have sources all throughout the NBA in Los Angeles, it's obviously been a choppy year. What is your gut feeling on that wheel of probability in all those players? I don't think they land. I think Boogie Cousins is probable. And after that, I don't know if they have the pieces for Anthony Davis. Do you think there's some master plan, some great plan here, or are they kind of just making it up as they go?
You know, it's very hard to read. First of all, as far as free agency goes, I can rule out some names here, right here.
Okay.
Klay Thompson, he's not going anywhere. He's told me he wants to be a Warrior for life. I think as soon as 901 hits June 30th, he's going to agree to a deal, assuming the Warriors offer him the max, and I think that they will. Kevin Durant, he might leave the Warriors. I don't think he's going to the Lakers. Look, he and LeBron, they might be chatting it up during a game.
Yeah.
There is mutual respect for obvious reasons, but just knowing how Kevin Durant ticks, I don't think he wants to play with LeBron because of all the circumstances and the circus that surrounds him. I don't think he would respond well to, say, you look at how LeBron handled Kyrie Irving and Kevin Love and the leadership style in Cleveland. I don't think that would sit well with Kevin. But to the larger point you asked, as far as where the Lakers go from here, I think they're in this really precarious position because, look, the young guys, they've shown some glimpses of good things.
They're
but
not
I don't,
special.
But, yeah, you hit it the nail on the head. There's not a feeling of, hey, this guy's going to be a star. But you don't want to just give up young guys for nothing. How do they find that middle ground? Because not only do you not want to run the risk of losing a good young asset, even if it's not a game changer, but you also want to establish a little bit of continuity, a little bit of culture. It's a very tough position because you have that, but then on the other hand, you know that if you get a star, things change like that. But, Colin, I think when you look at this season and the Lakers and what went wrong, I'm not making an excuse for them, but injuries were a predominant thing. I think if LeBron was healthy and some of their young guys were healthy, they would have still been able to sneak into the playoffs and maybe cover up some of the issues going on.
But let me push back on that. Lonzo now injury prone.
Yeah.
Brandon Ingram, a serious medical condition. I don't think those are all solved if they stay. Lonzo has not shown an ability to stay on the floor.
Right. And fair point. And that's what I was going to get into here, where if they were healthy, it may have been at least enough to get to the playoffs, but wouldn't solve everything here, right? Because I think when you're looking at the moves that the Lakers made, yes, they got LeBron James, they got the big name, but underneath that, their moves haven't really panned out. They didn't surround LeBron with shooters. They got a bunch of veterans on one-year deals.
None of them can shoot.
Yeah, none of them can shoot, and it's kind of an awkward dynamic. When you have guys on one-year deals, you wonder to what extent are they trying to make sure that they're securing their future versus doing what's best for the team. I think to some extent the young guys have gotten a bad rap where they have developed, but not to the point that, you know, that they're showing clarity on how they can be stars. But for them to just be thrown out there in the Anthony Davis trade discussions, obviously everyone's on the table, but there was a lot of consequences post-trade deadline from that. And I wonder if they can ever recover from that, because the feeling around the NBA is the way those trade negotiations were handled, there was a lot of resentment built from some of the young guys and kind of a feeling that LeBron was detached from them, and they have to kind of bridge that gap from here on out.
By the way, Steph and Steve Kerr, two of the smartest guys, the nicest guys in the league. What's been that like to cover them?
Yeah, it's exactly that. And I think the thing with Steph Curry is the thing that might be obvious. Oh, he makes a bunch of 30-footers. He's such a great shooter. But he's the guy that's kept everything together this season. I would venture to say that if you removed Steph Curry, maybe the Draymond Durant incident would have festered longer. Maybe the integration process with DeMarcus wouldn't have been as seamless. He is a guy that has a really good pulse on the team and tries to do a lot of things proactively to make everyone feel comfortable. And the fascinating thing about Steph Curry is the feeling is it's not contrived. This is authentic in who he is.
This is who he is.
And when
low maintenance,
and I think the other important thing is what Draymond Green has said about Steph is that there's no fake BS. Guys in this league and in professional sports, they can detect that easily. With him, they feel it's all genuine, so that makes his leadership qualities, I think, even more valuable because they know that he has their best interests.
Good seeing you, bud.
Likewise. Always a fun time.
Love having you. All that insight on the Warriors. Mark Medina, Warrior writer, Mercury News. Joy with the news.
No. Turn on the news. This is the Herdline News.
All right, let's talk about some more news from Mark. More than 1 year about being waived by the Lakers, Andrew Bogut is apparently still upset about it. Bogut told Mark Medina, I was basically lied to. The Lakers told me I'd be there the whole year. They went against their word and waived me at the deadline. It's part of the business, but it's disappointing because I have 2 young kids and all that. I was stupid enough to take their word on something I shouldn't have. I say this all the time. I will never, ever understand this move. I wish front offices would stop doing it. It makes no sense. You are not obligated to tell a player you're not going to trade them or move them. Don't do it. You may have to do it. And then what? Then you're a liar. Why do you even say it? It makes no sense. It just creates an environment of distrust. You don't have to do it. Yeah. If a player asks you point blank, are you going to trade me ever? You can say, I can't give you that answer right now. You're on the team right now. You're a part of this family. This is a business. I can't give you an answer.
It's a real simple rule in life. Make fewer promises. Just in life. Don't make promises ever.
Well, especially don't make promises that you literally cannot keep.
By the way, because you can't keep most of them. Just don't make, in life, over-deliver. Under-promise, over-deliver is a great rule in life for relationships, teams, business.
I mean, we see this in sports so much. It's not just in basketball, and I never understood it. You're just setting yourself up for failure, and you're just creating division and bad energy that sticks with players and franchises for a long time. All right, so one of the most heated bidding wars is upon us as we get closer to Zion Williamson becoming the #1 overall pick, which we all assume he will be. According to ESPN, there's a brand based in China that's also hoping to get in the mix of 7 bidders, and one unnamed company willing to offer $10 million per year. So there's a bunch of bidders for Zion Williamson, not just Nike, Adidas, Under Armour, New Balance, Puma, and Anta.
This is a 2-horse race. It's Nike and Adidas.
I don't know. Someone may be willing to give him a whole lot more money to trump them.
From what I trust a source on this.
Lots of sources today.
Nike's going to make sure. Nike is willing to overpay him significantly after the shoe explosion.
Well, that's an interesting thing. You know, Gottlieb brought that up last week. Obviously, Nike and LeBron have a great partnership, and LeBron's shoe sells well. But LeBron's shoe is a very, very heavy shoe. It's made for a bigger guy, obviously, which Zion is. So is Zion's shoe going to be similar to LeBron's, or is it going to be a